Welcome. Well, hello and welcome to the zoominghooskpodcast. And I am your host, Dustin DaHusky. Glad to have you with us. And today my co-host is the ever loafy and much whiskered Kurdan Sourpuss.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay.
I am okay too. Today was odd for work. I actually have something regarding work now.
Mm-hmm.
So my boss, who I'm now really actually thinking he is a male version of a Karen.
Mm-hmm.
He is a total Karen. This morning, of course, I'm never invited or involved in any of the company or department meetings because I'm usually the last one to know. People don't seem to care, but I also don't care, so that's not a problem. Well, this morning the boss says, "Hey, company meeting is 10 to 11, which is not usual. We usually have our lunch break at 11:30, which is when we typically start the company meeting, which is now done by videocast." And my boss just discovered something that he probably should have known for the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently for first and second shift, there's actually 4 different lunch periods for at least these 2 shifts. Because even with first shift, there is a second lunch period. You're assigned a lunch period. Well, my boss decided to wanted to do the company meeting through early first shift's lunch period, which would mean we would be crashing on their party. And my boss totally forgot that first shift, let's just call it that, had its own lunch period. He's been in this company since 91, and they had this new lunch hour or lunch period added for the last 20 years, and he was pissed off that no one ever told him. He has been, here 30 years. This lunch period existed for 20, and he just discovered this today.
Is he drunk?
I hope so, because...
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, I've only been here barely 2 years, and I've understood that there are 4 lunch periods for first and second shift alone. So get this. He did the most Karen thing to do. He called up HR and started giving him the whole 9 yards of, "Oh, well, why didn't anyone tell me this? Why didn't you tell me that?" And I can overhear the phone conversation on the other side like, "We've been doing this for a while." "Oh, we have? Well, why didn't anyone tell me?" "Well, I thought you were in the know." So he got all flustered over what he calls a miscommunication, which really is he's on a different planet.
Yeah, also.
And he got pissed off because now he had to push the meeting till tomorrow, which he ain't here tomorrow anyway, so why does it matter to him? So he's pissed off about that. Then today he comes over to me and says, You use way too much shipping supplies. You have to tone it down because you're starting to cost the company money, which... So I help with shipping department inventory. That is brand new cardboard boxes, bags, labels, you name it. In a shipping department, we stock up for that. And for the last 3 quarters that I've been recording stuff, we've actually been using less and less product. The shipping department of any company is going to be consumables. Pretty much, you're going to be using boxes, you're going to be using labels. You're bound to use stuff anyway. Brown glue tape that you go through a brown tape machine or whatever you would call them.
Brown tape.
And then you have your clear plastic tape through tape guns and whatnot. This is actually stuff we use. We just can't look at this and say, hey, we got to do our jobs, but we can't touch it. No, that's not what these are here for. And they came up to me stating that we were using too much. Well, I just did inventory. We used less in the last 3 months than we have in the last 2 months. And he told me that I was using way too much. I didn't even bother to tell him. I just kind of like nodded, and then he walked away, and I just kind of like gave him the mental middle finger. And today was a very, very boring day. It was incredibly slow. We had nothing going out and nothing coming in. And when I mean nothing, I'm saying small incremental amounts of product going out and some coming in. Which is nuts that we have a slow day like today.
Yeah.
He was critiquing my friend Tony the Torpedo. We call him the Torpedo because he had a dream where he was given birth by a submarine. So we decided to call him Torpedo afterwards, and it annoys the boss, so we all call him Torpedo. So far, that battle is winning. And he's also an ex-custodian like I am. And he knows his way around a broom. I do as well. We know the good ways. There are good ways and bad ways on how to use a swivel broom.
Mm-hmm.
And he had nothing else better to do, so he decided to sweep the shop floor because it's been a little while since that happened. And my boss was critiquing him on how to use a broom that he has been in custodial work for 5 years prior to this job, telling someone who's never done anything else besides this job how to use a broom. And after Tony had walked away sulking because he also thinks the boss is an idiot, and he told me what happened, and then he walks towards the back of the factory and whatnot and starts sweeping there to be as far away from the boss as possible.
Sure.
Then I can overhear my boss talking to one of his brown nosers, bitching about how, like, not only people use a broom to sweep up stuff, but he's also complaining that people are resorting to cleaning instead of doing actual work. The problem is, there's no more work to be done. So my boss is complaining about nothing, which he likes to do.
That sounds like a boss.
My boss's boss came walking in, saw that we were twiddling with our thumbs. He all gave us a thumbs up and he walked away. It's like, see, now that's a boss that knows not to care. Mm-hmm. He knows when to care and not to care. And that was one of those moments like, you know what, today's a good day. Everything is out the door. Everything is put away. Not my problem. And he just kind of walked away. I like him. My boss, on the other hand, when it's busy, he wants 100% out of you. When it's slow, he wants 110%, if that makes sense.
Somewhat.
So when it becomes busy again, he wants 120% out of you, and that's just not practical. My boss is an idiot. And I've been, would it be fun to see a reaction if I called him Karen? And he knew he can't fire me because he needs me, so...
He would probably implode.
I would love to see that. I want to take... Now, you've been asking me to take a picture of his face to show you, because there's no image of him online. There's a picture of his brother online, but I refuse to print a picture of his brother to put in front of a dartboard and use it as a surrogate boss. Because I got nothing against his brother. He might be a nice person, or he may just be a dipshit like my boss. But I refuse to use a photo of another human being that's not meant for my darts. I want my boss's face on my dartboard. Because you know what? I want to aim for his teeth. But I wouldn't mind getting a picture of his face if I can get a close enough photo without him noticing. So I can make a mask of his lower face because he's got this stupid ass goatee. Make a mask with it and wear it. As you can tell, I'm pretty enthralled about my job. I actually don't care about my boss. I love my job. I hate my boss. I think I'm totally done with that. You mentioned to me earlier about a meeting yourself at your work.
Oh, God. Do I have to?
If you want to.
Well, okay. So we have a rotation of assistant store managers that happens apparently every blue moon or every other moon. And this guy that we have now is a complete. He panics when there's a store visit from one of the higher ups. What did I say? What was going on?
It was between you and second shift, and you were near the conference room.
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of had the feeling there was going to be a meeting, so I kind of just ducked out as soon as I saw more people coming in from second shift, because frankly, I'm a good worker, and I don't think whatever the meeting was going to be about would apply to me, so I just
You walked out.
I just ducked right out. I was like, I just pieced out. I didn't say anything. I said no words. I just walked out onto the floor and just left.
That's actually funny. So you say there's like a rotation every month or so.
I don't know if it's that often, but every once in a while they to keep the assistant managers, I don't know, whatever, interested in their job.
I can't help but to think of like the changing of the guard, kind of like the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier,
Yeah.
or like the German Newer Watch
Very much
building.
So. Yeah.
Of like two assistant managers walk towards each other. One of them presents a cash register, turns around, and the other guy takes his spot.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of like ways of like that's got to be either amusing to watch or, as what you said, this guy's sweating bullets.
Yeah. And the reason he's sweating bullets is because we have corporate visits.
Ooh.
And, I'm for at least the last hour of my shift, I call things off the floor, which, if anybody knows, culling means...
To pretty much remove.
Yeah. So I'm in fresh produce. Stuff goes bad after a while. It doesn't stay very long, so we have to... you have to cull it. And so I'm back there removing stuff from the floor, and if it's still... I don't know, if it has another couple days of life on it, I will donate it to Feeding America. And if it's got a bite taken out of it, or or if something's growing on it that shouldn't be growing, like an extra butt or an extra penis.
This tomato's got one too many scrotums.
That's right. Get those balls out of there.
Get that scrotum off.
Actually, I've seen tomatoes that look like they have extra set of balls on them. They're bizarre, to say the least.
I'll never look at a tomato again.
Yeah. But
hold my red scrotums.
So yeah, I'm back there disposing of stuff, doing my job, and he comes back there frantic, stuttering, and almost panic attacked, really. And I've had panic attacks, I understand, but it's Walmart. I mean, come on. And he's like, "Have you seen this sign for what did I call it? Something America."
Feeding America?
Not Feeding America, but something else, like Native America or Coming America.
Oh, yeah. It was like a cardboard sign, right?
I don't know, some kind of signage that he needed to put out there that we didn't have, and he was in a panic. And I don't really deal with changing signs other than flipping prices if they go up. But, so I couldn't help him, and he's like looking around, and heck, he's the one that reorganized the whole back room for us, threw it all onto the top shelf above where we have dried things. Dried meaning potatoes, tomatoes, melons, watermelons, stuff that doesn't have to be refrigerated, and pineapples.
Pineapples.
And that's what he decided to use as a step. I just like glance over and he's stepping on the pineapples to get up to the top shelf. I'm like, don't step on the pineapples.
Pineapples are your friend.
Yeah, who wants to buy that shit when they've been stepped on?
Sir, I want to return this pineapple. What seems to be the problem? There seems to be a shoe on it.
There seems to be a footprint, sir. So yeah, don't buy your pineapples from Walmart. They've probably been stepped on.
By assistant managers.
Yeah. What a chode. What a chode. So that was my day.
Aw. Yeah, so we both kind of had so-so days. What's actually made my day is today a local friend had asked me to give her or them my rev sheet. And they wanted to do something special for me, and I was like, oh, well, thank you. Then I got the results of said art, and they made something for the show, and I felt quite honored and happy, and it is made by a local named Maxwell, and their Telegram channel is YourSadGreyNugget's art channel. I'll put a link in the description box. They made this today. I am quite stupid happy to receive art from friend because, well, Hoosk doesn't get much free art. Almost never does get free art.
Aww.
But it's so cute. I can really appreciate it. I absolutely love it. I'm going to use it. Somewhere, somehow, I'm going to find a use for it. I'm just trying to look. I really appreciate it, Maxwell. Thank you so much for taking time to make stuff for me because...
Definitely. It's very cute. And I, as you say, too, I love supporting artists. I love supporting people that are starting out.
Especially local artists, too, because
sure.
they're the ones that kind of get looked over in the local furry community where
Sure.
most
The big names.
either like big names in the local community or in the community at large.
Mm-hmm.
And this would be a great opportunity to pay that back by plugging their channel. Again, that is Your Sad Grey Nuggets art channel. Their name is Maxwell. They also go by Your Sad Grey Nugget. It's kind of cute. And their art is really, really adorable. I would really recommend giving them a check and get art from them. So thank you so much, Maxwell. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Maxwell.
I kind of want to cry because it's so cute and amazing. But it's so adorable. I am zooming and yelling at the same time. So I really appreciate it, Maxwell. Thank you. Now.
I have to interrupt you before you go on.
Yes?
So I've been trying to describe to you what my boss looks like.
Uh-oh.
And I finally placed it in my head. I couldn't place it for the longest time. But do you remember Mad TV? Like from the first 3 or 4 seasons, there was a chubby guy. He was pretty funny. I will show you a picture of him. This is almost exactly what my boss looks
He
like.
almost looks like a Chris Farley.
Yeah, he is kind of a Chris Farley.
Except he is a Chris Farley that weighs 300 pounds less and still looks like Chris Farley, if that can be imagined.
Yeah, my boss is not huge.
No, you know what he almost looks like? He looks like a Leo DiCaprio that chunked out a lot.
Yeah, except my boss is kind of more blonde than brown hair like this. But
Okay.
the facial features, the baby face, definitely very much. I have to find this guy's this name. I forget.
We'll have to maybe send that link towards me to me, and I'll put that in the description box so that everyone can see. Because we are a audio podcast. We just showed each other a video.
Yeah.
That helps you guys a lot. So actually, I should
But if
probably...
anybody's familiar with Mad TV and kind of knows some of the comedians, it's not the guy that does the oranges or that did the oranges on Vine.
Will Sasso.
It's not Will Sasso. It's the other
Oranges.
It's the other fat guy. He was in the earlier seasons of Mad TV. He was a funny guy. I mean, he's very funny, but yeah, that's my boss right there, literally.
I may.
He's from Mad TV.
There is a French comic book where there is a character in one of my mom's comics that looks exactly like my boss, but in obviously what you call it, a caricature, a total caricature of him. You know what would be spot on? I just need to find a picture. I want to take a picture. Print it on paper, put it on my workstation, and see what my boss will actually say. I may want to do that. I want to go full on Office Space and do weird stuff and just see if the boss will actually understand what's going on.
He'll have no idea.
No, he's totally fucking clueless. Yeah. So this week, I had an interesting thought, and I like history and whatnot. And I was thinking about the Wild Wild West. I don't know why, it just popped up. I thought, good old wooden buildings, cowboys screaming in the air, dirt everywhere. You know, Wild Wild West. And I thought, well, what can be made interesting out of the Wild Wild West?
Mm-hmm.
The gay Wild West.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Welcome to Rectum City from Prolapse County.
Oh, God. You did not just go there.
Where all the cactuses are just giant dildos.
Oh, God.
You're riding into town. You are a stranger. You are now, picture yourself, you're now a stranger. Whether if you're a cowboy or a gold miner or whatever, you're suddenly stumbling into town. You're thirsty. You need sustenance. Then you see this town over the horizon. You see these large looming rods in the distance, and you thought, okay, all right, cactus. Okay, no, they're not cactuses. They're green dildos.
Of course they are.
And every single one of them is a person, and they're all waving towards you. They're all friendly people. The people of Rectum City, Rectum Town, or Rectumville, I forget exactly what now. They're all very, very friendly people. They're going to wave you by while they're really going deep on a green rod.
Of course they are.
And then confusingly, there's one man who's really into pain sitting on an actual cactus.
Oh, God.
So now you're going into town, right? Now you're in the middle square. There is really no dirt, because you know what? In the gay Wild West, we're a bit better than the Wild Wild West. There's less dirt. We have paved streets. And pretty much a street sweeper that goes around, so it's like, it's kind of odd. Then you see a horse trough. You see men bathing in the horse trough. You know what? Hey. Sometimes you gotta help another man wash themselves in broad daylight in public while knee deep in a horse trough. Not a single horse in sight, perhaps. Let's just even say that. It's like, well, where's all the horses? Oh, well, we may as well make this useful. There is obviously no brothel.
I'm sorry, the Scissor Sisters, Only the Horses song comes to mind.
That's a good song. There is no brothel. You have a bathhouse.
But would it be called bathhouse or would it be called something else?
Ye old bathhouse.
Ye old bath saloon.
Ye old bath saloon. There we go. Okay. All right. This is actually getting a lot more fun. Okay. So it is totally a saloon. You go in, then you get blasted.
With what?
That's a terrifying question.
Come in the face.
Cum shots.
Yeah, instead of gun fights, they have cum fights. Like two guys, they have like their dick in a holster. The showdown.
This man's going to town with a big iron in his pants. A big iron in his pants.
Meet me in the main road at sundown. We'll have a cum fight.
Bring your assless chaps with.
Yes.
Oh. You know what they do for punishment in Rectum Town?
What do they do?
If you get caught doing something illegal, because of course this is still society, this is the gay Wild West, but there's still laws. There is punishment. They put you on a wooden frame.
Okay.
You think gallows, and like, okay, we're not that sinister, we're not that dark. A man is now naked in front of the entire town, which is nothing normal because most people, men, aren't wearing pants, maybe none at all.
True.
His punishment is to stick his dick into a fleshlight. Oh, no! No, please, anything but that. Oh, ooh.
Yes.
And that's a sentence. So then you have your ye old, what do we call it?
Bathhouse.
No, a bath saloon. So what do you do in the old gay Wild West? So here's one. You play horseshoes, right? So then you have a metal stake on the ground. Well, what happens if it's a dude's dick? So now you have a horseshoe and a man's really sturdy member. Now, we cannot have a saloon.
You're talking lawn yard games?
I mean, we could do that.
Is that? I feel like that's where this is going.
I don't know.
Throw the horseshoe and see if the other guy's dick will catch it,
or something with the dick's hand. I don't know.
With the dick's hand. When did dicks have hands?
I don't know, but apparently they're their own piece or they're big iron.
Well, you see those people like take those selfies of their penises holding like shampoo bottles and.
I think at that point it's going to be like a bottle of gin. Or a 10-gallon hat.
Yeah. This is my coat hanger.
This is my coat hanger.
Right here. I'm just hanging out my cock.
Now, here's one. Drag queens. You still have a salon. Then you have a dance stage.
Okay.
You still have dancers. Drag queens.
Of course.
And I would be very disappointed if none of them had a nice Western twang. Like, hey there. I'm actually bad with imitating.
You want me to do accent?
Yeah.
Well, hello there.
Your mouth looking pretty.
Big boy.
Oh, and them big boys and the big guns, if you know what I mean. There ain't a pussy in sight for another 50 miles.
You take what you can get out in this old gay West. I'll tell you that right now.
Let's see. Oh, so then there's a train station in town, right? So suddenly you hear a train in the distance. Then several of the townsfolk run to the track, bend over and pull their pants down. And then there it is, a steam locomotive instead of a cow catcher, plow up front.
Mm-hmm.
It's dildos. But hey, some people like the steampunk dildos.
I can see that. I can imagine that. Now, what else I envision in my mind, because our own experience with lube and everything, you imagine like old, what's the name of like an old Rusty? Talk to old Rusty about using the right kind of lube, and Rusty's like, yeah, we don't take too kindly to folks using that water-based lube around these here parts there, boy. I'm sorry, I'm doing that wrong. I have to do kind of a gay. I'll try and do that again.
A really gay twang.
We don't take too. It's gonna just sound like the old guy from Family Guy.
Yeah.
We don't take too kindly, Chris, to only use the silicone-based lube there, boy. That sounds creepy.
So then, I mean, yeah. Because I'm actually thinking now of like blacksmiths. So you have your blacksmith, right?
I just see black dicks instead.
We can go that route. So, there we go. If you're waiting to, if you got an inch, or you have an itch, 6 inches or more, in a place that you want to get taken care of, you go to the blacksmith, where probably the most muscular tone and well-oiled African American
Oh yeah.
is strutting his stuff right over the fire. He is billowing the flames.
Mm-hmm.
Then out comes a dildo.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? You know what? Maybe this is where Bad Dragon, the origin stories of Bad Dragon is starting from the gay Wild West in Rectum City. That this very man created the very first metal dildo.
Metal dildo?
Yeah, me as well. Or that, or okay. So in this case, there is actually So there's technology. They have silicon. Okay, now he's a cocksmith.
There you go, cocksmith. I can see him. But what kind of metal would it be made out of? What was like iron? Iron was like big back in the old days.
Yeah.
Iron-based dildos.
This thing's a vibrator in itself.
Iron and gold. There's gold is soft, so that might work better as a dildo.
Honestly, I think
Although you don't want that.
cocksmith, though. I think at this point, if you're living in a gay, wild west city, you're more likely got silicone. There is some crazy old coot that's probably like, hey, I've discovered the secret to pleasure. And then you have a old country fair with people and their wares and whatnot. The best fabrics in the land, the best leather assless chaps in the land.
Of course.
And then you've got beads. Beads as far as the eye can see. Not the beads you're thinking of. No, bad. No, wait. Well, actually, there could be anal beads. But just beads, because you know what? Sometimes you gotta wear a few chains of beads. Then, there's a man that's actually got an actual invention. A machine that makes an ice cube. That's right, I am now quoting Back to the Future.
What?
Then, the guy next to him creates silicone. And all the men are like, ooh, I know what that's going to be used for. And this other person's going to be like, damn it, I should have done that instead.
Yes.
There we go. Medical grade silicone. Given to our glorious cocksmith.
Lovely. Going back though to my gold dildo, I worry about gold being used because I know gold is soft.
I mean, people drinking in Goldschlager.
Do they? But is it real gold though? Is it real?
Gold leaf, yeah. You buy a bottle of German Goldschlager, it's going to have some gold flake in it. Oof. And you drink it. I know there are rich people out there that have gold toilet paper. So if it goes close to anything to your body, at least if you're eating it, you're going to have it through a drink, or there's like restaurants where you can have gold shavings on a steak. And it's going to be gold leaf flakes.
See, I just don't want like dildos to be made out of gold because can you imagine them trying to go back?
You have the richest ass in the world. Return
these things, mate. Your dildo broke in my ass.
Now I gotta go shit it out. Oh, fuck.
This is the third time. Man, you think you learn after the first time. Don't stick it all the way up there and twist it around. You know, it's going to break if you keep twisting it. Well, I know, but darn, Skeeter, I like it. The twisting sensation feels good up in my...
in my hootus and my tootus. I mean, that would be pretty incredible where you're like going across the great expanse of this country back in the day, and then you see, Chimney Rock, geological formations, you see some cactus and whatnot, and then all of a sudden you see people putting their asses on these giant dildos in the middle of nowhere. It's like, dude, where the hell are we? Oh, no. Rectum City. We gotta turn around.
You know everybody's going to end up there at one time or another.
They're gonna put perfume on us and make us take a bath.
We don't take kindly to city folk around these here parts.
Ooh, that fashion is so 1820s.
Mm-hmm. So I had something that I wanted to actually talk about.
Oh, sure thing.
Just because I'm doing it more often. And I noticed that, well, obviously there's other people in the fandom and outside the fandom that do it as well. And that is cosplaying. Specifically, superhero cosplaying. And this is something that I've kind of gotten into more.
I actually noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, I can't deny.
You can't stop.
I can't deny it. I had a huge crush on Spidey as a young boy.
A young cat.
As a young poos.
A young poos.
I did. I wanted to bury my face in his cooter and tutor.
Into the spider crotch.
I did. I had a friend that had a doll.
Uh-oh.
And it had the suit on it, but it was made of... It wasn't like spandex, but it was some kind of material, and I played with that doll so much. Every time.
You played with them, and I'm doing air quotations.
No, I mean, I like
You actually played with them.
played
Okay.
like it was a doll. I may have kissed him once or twice.
It's okay. It's okay.
It was Spidey.
He was kissing you back.
He was kissing me back. He was kissing my Peter. But yeah, and now I kiss other Spidey Peters. And they kiss mine.
I've been wondering where all the spiders went. Because normally there's a few spiders here and there in the basement, but holy moly, they've been gone for a while.
We're shacking up.
Oh, we're shacking up.
Me and the spiders.
And then sometimes Spider-Man just crawls through your window.
Yep. Oh, God. I wrote a story in high school about this.
Wait, did I just...
My mom found it under my bed.
I'm very intrigued.
It was like a 12-page story about somebody dressed as Spider-Man sneaking into my room. I was a teenage poos when I wrote that.
And what was it about?
It was very bizarre, and I can't get into specific details. Because my understanding of sex was not correct. Let's just put it that way.
A gentle caress on the face, and then
There was lots of hugging.
fireworks.
There was lots of hugging and kissing, but there was not a lot of bodily fluid exchange.
And this was a school paper?
No, this was just, it was written on school papers.
Oh!
Not for school. This was for my personal use.
Oh, gotcha. Because I was going to say, knowing...
That's why it was hidden under my bed.
Where the best stuff is hidden.
Yeah, until your mom finds it.
Yeah, holy moly. Because I was going to say, you had a school paper about Spider-Man breaking through your window and say, hey, I love you.
That would have been some
let me
school
blast
paper.
my web into you.
Let me shoot my web all over you.
I will crawl all over you and do Spidey things to your face and stuff. That's actually funny, though.
It is. But, I mean, there's other cosplayers out there beyond, like, furry.
And actually, why don't you talk about the quality of costumes over the years?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, it's so close to movie quality now. And the funny thing is, when I first was curious about it was back when I worked at Blockbuster Video, which here we are talking about Blockbuster Video.
Another shout out to Blockbuster Video.
Another shout out to the last Blockbuster in a podcast,
Yep.
in a Zooming Hoosk podcast. But yeah, when I was working at Blockbuster, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out, early 2000s, and each store got a life-size statue of Spider-Man.
I think I remember this, actually.
And it was, I guess it was like styrofoam underneath, but it was the suit on top of it.
Really?
And each store held like a small contest, and somebody won that fucking suit. And
Really?
it should have gone to me. It should have gone to me.
Didn't you actually work nights at Blockbuster for a while? You should have just
Don't
like
remind
taking
me.
it.
We did things to that suit.
Oh,
Like, we didn't like do things to it, but like we danced with it. I have videos of it. I have pictures with it.
that sounds glorious.
One of my friends, Justin, kissed it a lot. He made out with Spider-Man
He took him to the back room.
almost nightly.
Oh my god.
We did. We kept him in the back room. And he was in Spidey's arms, and yeah.
Spidey was in his arms.
No, he was in Spidey's arms.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he was really into Spidey.
But yeah, and
There may
actually,
have been some web action going on.
this guy Ken, who ended up working at the store, won it. And he said that I guess it had like 3D puff paint on it for the web design, which kind of over time deteriorated and fell off. But it would have been nice to have that suit.
Was it was it made out of like Lycra or something?
Oh, it was
like
definitely spandex.
Spandex?
Which is a huge thing for me as well. But I should have had that fucking suit. It should have gone to me.
You should have taken it the night before and said, "Where's the suit?" I don't know.
I don't know, but the Spidey statue's still here without it.
Oh well.
Oh well.
And you could be wearing it underneath your clothes
Oh, I
too.
would have
It's
been-
like
I
it's
would
mine
have-
now.
Fucking would have been wearing that thing. But there's better suits. That's the thing. There's actually better suits out there than the Sam Raimi Spidey suit, which you can get also at ZentaiZone.com. You can get the Sam Raimi Spidey suit. But there's other suits out there. There's pretty much every suit that's ever been in every movie and game from the Xbox. What was it? Insomniac games, I believe. There's the PS4 Insomniac Spidey suit, which is actually the suit that I own, that I am so happy about. I love that suit so much.
Can you tell us more about that suit?
It's really tight.
Yeah,
I need help getting into it.
It's actually quite body forming.
It is very body forming. It smashes my junk way down, so it almost looks like I don't have anything.
Much like the movie.
Much like the movie.
Yeah.
Unless I get really hard, and then
And that's a bump. It's like
then there's a
the
bump.
spandex just hides so much of it.
Actually, it doesn't hide that much.
Really? Oh, that's true. Yeah.
If you aim things in the right direction, you can totally tell. Shall I show you a picture?
I guess. Because there's actually a lot of now with Spider-Man in particular, because I had some good friends that really like Spider-Man, so, I saw the movies with them and whatnot. So I definitely grew up watching Spider-Man movies. He's a pretty cool superhero.
Yeah, this is the picture you took.
Oh, yeah.
In the chair.
Oh, my God.
Can't really see too much there.
Oh, my God.
Look at my Spidey crotch.
Spider-Man gives no fucks anymore.
He does give no fucks. Yes, he should. No, don't move it.
And if there was one thing that I've noticed about merchandise with Spider-Man, is that you get two kinds of merchandise. You get one where Spidey's crotch seems to be the center of attention, or two, it's somewhat the center of attention, but his arms are in the way of the crotch.
You can see it.
Yeah, that's so noticeable.
It's undeniably a Spidey wood.
Oh my God. You know what? Spider-Man would be fighting crime and he'd still have a hard-on.
Oh, he'd be sticking that right in people's faces.
I got you, perp!
Oh, God. Spider-Man's
Oh,
penis
no,
is in my face.
please don't shove it in my face.
I surrender.
Just please don't get close to me.
I already surrendered. Oh, God.
But can you confirm that over the years, when there's merchandise of Spider-Man, particularly on like clothing, blankets, toys, pretty much anything involving the image of Spider-Man, when it's being advertised,
Yes.
you often enough, more than enough, see his junk tends to be the center point.
Well, I wouldn't say his junk so much. Spidey...
His ass.
His ass can be a focus, but Spidey's well known, for me at least, his man-spreading.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
He man-spreads like...
That's a superpower.
Someone taking a picture of me? Let me spread my legs for you. Here you go.
You know what I would love to see?
Someone's drawing my picture? Here, let me spread my legs and show my ass.
You know what
there you go.
You know what I would love to see is if I went to like Anime Milwaukee one year.
Yeah.
Which is a really, really fun con. I've been there only once. Been trying to go out, but sometimes it coincides with First Squared, or I just don't have the funds to go.
No.
Although that's no excuse because I'm only 20 minutes away. But anyway, I would love to take a picture of a Spider-Man where all of a sudden he like, oh, wait, oh, you want to take a picture of me? Oh, no problem. And he goes immediately in a man spread.
Yeah, well, that's because that's the classic Spidey pose.
It's like anything else, you got a man spread because you know what? You're Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That is the superpower. Yeah. And you're allowed to get away with that. Batman, if you were to do Batman man spreading, I mean, like, the bats are free, but that's just not normal. Or at least not usual.
It's not expected.
Typical.
It's not expected.
Or like Superman spreading. Well, at that point, it's an E621 image.
That's funny, too, that you mentioned that, too, because when I went to the thrift store the other day, found I'm not going to say life-size. It was probably, how long is that? Like 2 feet? 2 feet?
Probably a 2 or 3 feet.
It was about 2.5 foot tall Superman doll. I took a picture of it. I'll have to show you. But his junk was very much the focus.
Oh. So...
On a kid's doll, for God's sakes.
I'm terrified. Because you know what? A lot of the merchandise gets sold to kids. And what's terrified... Jesus fucking Christ.
There's my penis.
Oh my God, his ass is even worse.
Look at his chest, though. His chest is so puffed out.
Well, he's Superman. He does super rips. Holy moly, look at his arms.
I'd say that this doll was about as long as my arm. Because look how big my hand is holding the bottom of it.
There's something drawn on him. On his face.
Oh no, it's a Band-Aid. Some kid put a Band-Aid across his face.
See, now that's really cute now. Dude, I like you're grabbing him by the knee.
Like, come here, Spider-Man. I'm grabbing your calf.
But why don't you talk
I mean,
about
Superman, not Spider-Man.
why don't you talk about the advances in modern costumes today? Considering I knew friends that we went trick or treating were dressed in few dressed in Superman. Both my friends for 3 Halloween straight dressed up as Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to call each other Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2. Then became Mirror Image Spider-Man, and then just decided just to be called Spider-Man,
Yeah.
just to annoy people. And the suits were okay. However, the face is always what brings out Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But back then, it was just an ordinary, over-the-face type of deal. Your suit has almost like a faceplate.
Well, it has a face shell, basically.
A face shell.
To help, if you don't have just the right silhouette or shaped face for the mask, you can have a face shell underneath the mask. And actually, it's kind of needed because the way the lenses affixed to the mask by magnet. So you kind of need that.
The magnets are a pretty cool addition.
Yeah, and I had to do some editing and fixing of that. There's a nice picture of Wolf with a penis on his head.
He is now Unicorn Wolf
I
now.
gotta send that to him.
It is actually cool that with the face shell, the removable eyes, it adds a bit of character to the cosplaying, or pretty much to the cosplayer.
Mm-hmm.
It adds a bit of realism because in the movies you see that his face is quite flattened out. Whether if they use something similar while filming or editing and whatnot, I find it fascinating that ordinary suits come with these little cool additions that really make any suit pop out.
Yeah.
It's much like fursuiting. I'm always amazed by new suits on how they look, and compared to suits from 10 or 20 years ago, it's always noticeable, but it's amazing and fun to watch.
Yeah.
The advances in some of this stuff, especially with magnets, I never thought to make the eyes magnetic with the face shell. So that way, when you put the suit on, the last things you put on are your eyes, and they're not attached by anything else but magnets, which is the way to go.
Right.
Are you planning on getting any more suits?
Yes. Eventually, but right now I don't feel like it's even worth it if I'm not going to cons.
Right.
I mean,
You seem to get this one recently.
I did. I just got the Insomniac PS4 Spidey suit. You know, and
What, back in March or April?
yeah, just actually
Just
I got
a
it. I got it just. I actually ordered it just before all this mess started. I'm not even. I'm not even gonna name what we're talking about because they know. You know, and actually, a lot of people that I have interacted with in the past have really kind of inspired me to do that. I mean,
Who is a very notable example?
there's a few. Actually, I'll name a couple. Captain Spandex, for one, that I follow. I originally found him on, wow, God, what's that website that got shut down, kind of,
Shut down.
porn-wise?
Pornhub or Instagram?
Not Instagram, but like Instagram.
I don't really actually watch porn.
Yeah,
Not
it's
not
it's
not
a
the porn that people are
It's
thinking
not a
of.
porn site. It's another media sharing site.
TikTok?
No, pictures and all that. Oh God, I can't think of the name of it. That's the algorithm thing where the penis being swatted at by the teacher
Oh, okay.
came from. Oh God, whatever it's called. That's where I found him on. Then we connected on Instagram that you mentioned, and now we follow each other on I don't think he follows me back, but that's all right. Through Twitter. But along with that, obviously Dragor and his suits.
He looks absolutely phenomenal.
He does. He's got the body for it.
Robbie from Dinosaurs. That's a favorite of mine. I like seeing him and wearing that one.
There's actually another fur that actually stands out to me.
Especially the Doom. The Doom's a favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has the absolute physique to do that, where you just see mostly gut. But it isn't Dragor without him wearing a suit at least once at a convention.
Definitely.
It's one of the... Okay, so a bit branching off. I'm from the Midwest. And if you're from the Midwest and you go to a convention in the Midwest, you would more likely see Dragor wearing one of his... Would you call it a skin suit, or would you just kind of call it a spandex suit?
I would just call it spandex, but I mean...
It's not a Midwest...
Actually, I'm going to take that back. A lot of it's Zentai. I will say that. It's Zentai now is the term that usually goes...
It wouldn't be a Midwestern con if it didn't at least have Dragor somewhere in the background, walking around, being a dinosaur.
Sure.
Or his demon character. I think it's like one of the few things that I also look forward to at conventions is, oh, hey, there's Dragor.
Yeah. Bulge!
Oh my god, the bulge.
I would take any one
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
I would take any one of those suits, honestly. Not take them. I would take him in that suit.
Dragor, I'd be very, very worried if I were you.
No, don't be worried. He already knows I have a crush on him.
Aww.
Here's another, and I've actually had a crush on him for a long time. Kyo the Husky. This guy's from Las Vegas, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Las Vegas. And he has been doing some
Cosplaying himself?
Well, but in his own suit, though. Where's some...
Nice, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's another inspired me to...
So there's a lot of overlay between the furry fandom and, of course, cosplaying, because there is some furries that do cosplaying. There's some cosplayers that still do a bit of maybe... Yep. Hump Day.
Yes.
It's actually cool to see different kinds of... Now, okay, furry fandom. It's an overlay of a lot of things. It's cool to see an overlay of different hobbies, communities merged together within the furry fandom, because furries are going to be doing something. He's got a nub. That's another cute fursuit right there, too. The fandom's amazing just because you'll meet anyone and they're going to be into...
Both versions of butt.
Oh my god, both versions of butt. It's incredible that you meet a furry and they're going to be into something. And more so than enough, you'll meet another into something similar as well. Most cases, it's going to be something that you're not. With furry, you're a wolf, you're a husky, you're a dragon. Reenactors, you're obviously not a war veteran from World War II, so you know what?
Sure.
There we go. Cosplaying, you're not Spidey.
Yeah.
But you want to be Spidey, so you become Spidey.
I am Spidey.
I'm
Spidey Poos.
Spidey Poos. Now, you know what? That'd be an art idea.
I already have them jotted down.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, that would be something cool, is to have Spidey Poos. Because cats are already an interesting creature that will stalk anything. Now, imagine if they would crawl up a wall while doing it.
Yeah.
That would be funny and terrifying at the same time.
Yep.
And cute, because you're gonna go like, "Aw, you're so cute," and they're like meant to be like, "Hey, I'm crawling on a wall, and you still call me cute? How dare you?" There we go. Yep. That's actually adorable.
Yep.
Both cosplaying and fursuiting, regardless of what you think of it, have come a long way.
Yeah.
From cosplaying from 20 years ago is similarly viewed with fursuiting from that time period. Over time, people will find new ways to make it better. And improvements rock.
And I will say the fandom itself, the furry fandom, is a great gateway to other things.
Yes.
Which is why you shouldn't limit yourself to just being furry.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that it's bad to be furry. I love being furry, but it's opened other avenues to me that I would have otherwise just ignored. And it's so great to be able to explore those and go beyond. Use your imagination and just do fun things, whatever you love. Video games, art, everything.
It could even be photography or reenacting, as far as my perspective goes. It could be stuff you do outside. It could be camping. It could be disc golfing.
Yep.
You meet a furry, and out there's going to be other furries that will like other things that you enjoy outside of the fandom. At least once a week, me and a few locals will go out disc golfing, which
I love disc golf.
Which I should probably, well, although with your weird schedule, maybe on a day like
Today, where I don't have to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even Saturday. Would be fun to take you disc golfing, because I think I've taken you a few times. I can't remember.
I love disc golf. It's fun.
But it's fun to do other things outside of the furry fandom with furries that you know, just to do something else that isn't furry related, whether if it's camping, disc golfing. I have some furs who are into cars like I am. We travel around the state for car shows. So it's cool to actually do other things than the usual, which really open up other avenues. You get better memories of, hey, remember that time when we went through a whole part meet at a car show and didn't find a single thing. What I was expecting or what you were expecting, had fun, came home, had good memories. Doing something with furries outside of furry really is fun.
Yeah.
Because you know that you're all furries, but you're not doing anything that is particularly furry about it.
Sure.
Which makes it so much fun. It's like with me and Briggs. Me and him either, perhaps, certainly the Corvette Nationals and Muscle Car Show down in Rosemont at the same convention center as MFF.
Yep.
Or going to the Field Museum or the Science and Industry. We do fun things, and we're both furries, but what we're doing isn't necessarily furry. And it's great to break out of the norm. We think furry as our normal. We call ordinary people normies. Mm-hmm. However, to some degree, we must enter that world somehow. And you know what? You can do it with non-furs, but you get more enjoyment when you do it with other furs.
Sure.
It's not to say that you should do other things outside of the fandom with furs or not, or with normies. It's fun to do things with furries outside of a furry environment. And you get a lot more out of it.
Sure.
In fact, you get to hang out with your friends outside of a furry event who are furries than you do at a convention or at a meet. I'll guarantee you that. Which, you know what I would love to do? Is just to visit a museum. Right now, it's pandemic and whatnot. As a history nerd, I love museums. And it pains me that I've not gone to one single museum this year so far. I think Madison, I like downtown Madison for its museums and whatnot. They do have a fantastic Civil War museum, which I haven't been to in like 4 or 5 years. Stuff like that. If I were to bring a fur or two who either enjoys uniformology or just military history or just history in general, it'd just be fun to do something different. And bringing a few furs along will really make your day a lot brighter, a lot more full, and a lot more interesting too at the end of the day. Yeah, it's interesting when you dive into this fandom. The fandom, you become the fandom as a member of the fandom, but you might totally lose yourself in it. Not to say that you should limit yourself from the fandom, because the fandom's pretty amazing. It's pretty positive. Unless you look at Twitter, but that's another story. Once you step foot out of the fandom, of course, we do that every time we go to a convention, every time we go to a fur meet. You go somewhere where you're going to be with other furries to be furry. Then the terrifying drive back home to normalcy. The only way... Wow. I totally forget kind of where I was going with that, but pretty much, you want to hang out with furries, but don't want to do anything furry. Just simply say, hey, you want to go thrift shopping with me and find junk that you may want to buy or not want to buy, or probably not buy at all, because you know what? Junk. It is absolutely fun to do things with furries that are not absolutely furry. Isn't that right, Sourpuss?
Mm-hmm. Speaking of thrift shopping, didn't I find
oh, yes.
a treasure?
Oh, my goodness. It reminds me of the 90s and Europe. So much nostalgia.
So I found this lamp that I've actually just been needing a light, something to, I don't know, warm the place up a little bit. And apparently it struck a chord with both Hoosk and Mother Hoosk. Actually, not Mother Hoosk. What is her persona?
She'd be an otter.
She's Otter. Otter Mom.
Otter Mom, yep.
So describe this light, since it's so near and dear to your heart.
All right, so as everyone probably doesn't know in this podcast, for many of you on YouTube, you probably don't know me that well enough. So my mom is French. She is from the eastern suburbs, or really the eastern ghettos of Paris. Paris does have ghettos, like most major cities on the planet. You're going to find yourself in the working man's part of town. I'm born in American, but due to I don't know, it's interesting, at least with French nationality. If your mom is French, born in another country, you're automatically a French citizen. So, I have a birth certificate in both countries. So, I used to visit my French family all the time. 14 times over a period of 18 years. And spending about anywhere from 2 to 3 months at a time. So, you can say that I've grew up in good spurts of my life in Europe. So, you know, learning culture and whatnot. Well, in the 90s, my French grandmother had this particular lamp in a room. And of course, it's interesting because in Europe, it's much like the rest of the world, except this country, where it's not uncommon to find multiple generations living in one roof. Although in this case, for my family's case, unless we're visiting, there's usually 2 generations living in one apartment. So I stayed in my grandmother's room for, much of the 2000s, pretty much after 2001. And in her room is this lamp. This lamp has a very narrow tube that extends from a flat base that meets at the very top of the tube a bowl or a flat plate, which has, of course, the lighting element and whatnot. And it's so 90s in look because Friends, the movie, or, well, not the movie, the TV show Friends had these lights, in a sense, for effect. You saw it in Frasier a lot. And in the 90s, they seem to be everywhere. I don't even know what type of lamp it's technically called, but it's a halogen lamp. It uses a halogen bulb, which gives out a really warm glow, and it is incredibly warm. If you were to put a light, this particular halogen lamp, in a room, and you turn it on for 24 hours, that room will be noticeably warmer over 24 hours. And it hums. It has an electric hum when you turn it on from its adjustment dial of brightness, which I've played a lot in my grandmother's room, because when you're in Europe, you have books, which I read in French, but beyond that, you're sitting in a apartment block in the eastern parts of Paris, nothing to do, unless you went to a park, which is about the only thing that you did, because this is the time before cell phones, and not so much internet, but internet there is still by cable. You still had to physically plug in your laptop with dial-up, even up well into the 2010s. I think my aunt still has dial-up in this modern age, if you can believe it. And the most fun I would ever have in Europe, which explains a lot, is to be playing with this dial on this light, not for the light effect, but to hear the hum of the halogen bulb on. And it's a very noticeable hum. If you have it all the way down, it hums the loudest. The brighter it goes, the less it hums. And I would do this for hours, play around with the light at night, play with the light during the day, in the morning. Hey, that's what you do for fun when you got nothing else better to do. We had things to do, we saw monuments, we've been to museums. We usually have a normal, well, for me, normal day in Europe. But when you have free time, you normally find the smallest things to play with, and that's usually lamps. And this is what Kurdan bought, was a similar lamp, a halogen thin stalk, like a living room or bedroom lamp. And the thing that takes me back is that hum, that audible hum of the dimmer switch. When you play around with it, it hums louder when it's dimmer or almost off, because it doesn't understand that it's I don't know how it actually really works. I know that when you turn it down, it hums the most. When you turn it up, it doesn't hum as much. That brought me back to the 90s, back to the 2000s. Brings my mom back to the 80s and 90s when she used to live there. So that's a bit of nostalgia that I really appreciate, because it reminds me of a time and a place that I may not be able to visit for a very long time. I've not been able to visit Europe since 2011, so you're almost going on a decade by now. I miss going, but the small things is what matters the most, and hearing even the buzz of a halogen lamp, like a pretty much an ordinary thin-stalked corner lamp that you'd put in the corner of a room, would light it up, brings back so many good memories that made me giggle like an idiot. And I giggle like an idiot. So some of the things in life you kind of have to cherish. Like the buzzer on an old car that you've not owned in so long. You hear a buzzer from somewhere and it reminds you of that. Some of the things, wow, this is becoming nostalgia cast. Some of the things that when you grow up, you're going to forget something for a while. You grew up some, something happens, and that's going to remind you of back then. And this is what happened with that lamp. A $10 lamp that he bought from Goodwill, brought it home, showed us all, and I totally, absolutely giggled like a moron of, oh my god, this totally reminds me of Bagnolet. Definitely brings back some happy memories of bored Hoosk playing with the lamp for hours without end. Because, of course, it is the late 90s in Europe. Before Euro, or before the Euro currency, before the Eurozone, everything was paid with francs, which I remember, which I aged myself that way. Good old times. So yeah, I this past week was fun because you gave back a lamp, or brought home a lamp that really brought back memories in terms of, the light, the heat that halogen lamp gives off, and the sound. So definitely made things a bit more exciting recently.
Yep.
And how do you like your lamp?
I love it.
I think it actually is better than your old lamp you've had in the room. Definitely has a much more warmer glow. It brightens up the room a bit more. I think it was a well purchase.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to say? No?
I did have one other thing I thought about, because you had asked me if there were other suits that I wanted to do. The one that comes to mind really for me would be Nightwing.
A Nightwing, huh?
Yeah. If you're familiar with Nightwing.
I might be.
Nightwing is who Robin becomes through a series of books. He becomes very dark, beyond angsty, just well beyond being just an teenage angst. He gets pretty dark, and actually, from what I understand, there's a few Robins, and actually, Kevin Smith touches on this in his series Comic Book Men. That I think there's actually 3 or 4 different Robins total.
Kind of like iterations.
Yeah, I mean the first being Dick Grayson, who gets adopted by oh god, who's Batman? Oh my god.
The actor?
No, the actual character. The rich guy.
Bruce Wayne?
Thank you. My god. Sorry, I'm not a big DC.
It's okay.
I'm not a big DCer, so I'm a Marvel guy. So why would I want to cosplay as Nightwing? Because the suit is sexy. It's all black with a few, like a blue, like Nightwing symbol across the top of it, across the chest. Maybe a few blue accents, but everything else is just black. It's a fantastic looking suit. I'll have to show you. You guys will see it soon enough. Eventually, I will get it.
And that would be that would be a eventual acquisition.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be the same as like Spidey, because it's not. There's no mask, so it's just. Well, there's a mask, but it doesn't cover the full head like Spidey.
It's mostly for the eyes.
Right. It just covers the eye line. So I'd have to wear like black eyeliner to black out the flesh color behind the mask.
Right. It's meant to imitate kind of like one of those classic like Incredibles movie style.
Oh, sure.
Eye mask. It's not technically a face mask, but it is a mask.
It's an eye mask. And actually, it's a more retro way of hiding your identity, because back then, in the like 70s, 80s, that's how they thought they could
get away.
Yeah. Right.
Wonder
Woman didn't even wear a mask. She just switched into her swimsuit, and everybody was like, "Whoa, Wonder Woman, where did you come from?
We needed you now." That's true.
Yeah.
And then superheroes like... Actually, you know what? Superman, for that matter, is one individual that didn't wear physically a mask over his face. It was more likely his costume was the only thing that differentiated him between...
The glasses.
The glass... Oh, there we go.
The classic Clark Kent glasses.
So actually, the only mask he ever wore when he wasn't Superman, and it was simple glasses, and that was the only thing to differentiate him between Ken Clark? Wait, Ken?
Clark Kent.
Clark Ken.
Clark Kent.
Kent. And Superman.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's like the reversal.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of original, because there's very few examples of that. I'm sure you would probably figure a few. I'm having a hard time trying to think of that kind of reversal of hidden identity in plain sight.
We'll have to do some research on superheroes for the next podcast.
That'd be interesting.
Go through some comic book men. It's a great way of doing it.
That is a fun podcast.
Yeah.
Oh. The polecat has offered a Twinkie. I will accept. Holy cow! That's a striped Twinkie. Hey, polecat. Say hello to the podcast.
Hi.
That's the polecat.
It's me.
He's a
So
polecat.
famous.
You're so famous.
He's
Yeah.
so famous.
You know what? He's so famous. He's walking away from me. He does not want anything to do with me.
Thanks, Polecat.
Thank you, polecat. And for those that actually don't know, my brother is also furry, and he's a polecat.
Closet furry for a long time.
Oh yeah. I guess yeah. My dad is a lynx, my mom's an otter, I'm a husky, and he's a polecat. And that's furry biology right there.
And your axe is a wolf cat.
And he acts like a wolf cat. So
your axe is a wolf cat, I said.
oh yeah, that's right, yeah. So pretty much you're anything you want in this fandom. And if you see a polecat, you may as well ask him for a Twinkie because he's got a lot of Twinkies.
This is stripes and it has orange filling.
So it's an orange filled striped Twinkie, which I can't remember the last time I had a Twinkie.
That's pretty furry, I will say, of Hostess.
I will say that, yeah. It's like, oh wait, it's a tiger Twinkie.
I wonder if Tony had anything to do with the filling.
He had a lot to do with the filling.
And we're blocked by Tony the Tiger.
I don't know if I've been blocked. Have you been blocked?
Oh yeah, I got blocked.
You got blocked. I got to see if I'm blocked because I didn't. So back 3 years ago.
Yeah, about that.
So Tony the Tiger, a lot of people were drawing dad art of him on Twitter, which I'm going to be very honest was pretty hot.
Yes, it was.
And people were actually plugging in. We're actually plugging in real Tony the Tiger Twitter account with this art. And Kellogg, I think Kellogg owns Tony the Tiger. I forget exactly what company. Pretty much, they did not condone...
Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes is Kellogg's.
Okay.
Right?
I think so.
They're great.
And the parent company is like saying, hey, we don't intend our mascot, Tony the Tiger, to be used in this way. And, yeah, Tony the Tiger decided to block multiple furry accounts.
Oh, all of them.
Probably mostly all of them.
I think eventually they killed off his Twitter.
That's right, because it's not there anymore. Or it could still be there. But then again, furries would probably...
I think it's gone. I think they pulled it. Because it was just too much work and too much...
The furries destroyed him.
We did. We scared him right off the internet.
He was
well
so
done,
much...
furries.
He was so much dad material, and he had to run because they were going straight for his loins.
Remember Shia's little... Hey, Tony. I want to go to bed with you.
What?
Hey, Tony. I want to go to bed with you. Green screened himself into a Tony the Tiger commercial.
What the fuck?
There's all these kids running around on the beach with Tony, and then all of a sudden Shy just shows up and he's like, I want to go to bed with you. Oh, I miss Shy. That Cabot. Shout out to the Cabot. He put out some quality YouTube content back in the day.
Shia?
Yeah. He really did. What do you think? Should we end this?
May as well. I've kind of run out of things to say.
All right. We can do that.
All right. Well, this has been Dustin DaHusky and Kurdan Sourpuss. And thank you for tuning in today for Zooming Who's Podcast. Hope to see you next time. Take care.